I'm about to reveal something that might shock you, and honestly, it shocked me too. Even after several years behind the pharmacy counter, the very supplements you were told to take to protect your heart and bones may be quietly damaging your kidneys, thinning your blood dangerously, or blocking the medications keeping you alive. Take Margaret, a 67-year-old retired teacher who does everything right. She walks every morning, eats clean, and takes her 6 supplements without fail. Then one day she ends up in the emergency room with unexplained internal bleeding. Her cardiologist had no answers, but her pharmacist did. I'm Sophia, a licensed pharmacist, and by the end of this video you'll know exactly which 5 supplement mistakes are silently working against your body after 60, and what to swap starting today. Before we start, I'll love to hear from you. Where are you watching from today? Drop your city or country in the comments below. I read every single one, and it really helps me see who is part of this community. Now, here's what nobody told you. After 60, your body handles supplements in a completely different way than it did at 40. Your kidneys filter your blood more slowly. Your liver changes how it breaks things down. Your gut absorbs nutrients less efficiently. That means the same pill that helped you at 50 can build up to harmful levels by the time you're 60. Think of it like the drainage pipes under a city. When the pipes are young and wide, heavy rain flows through without any trouble. But as those pipes get older and narrower, the same amount of rain starts backing up. And before long, the basement is flooded. Your metabolism is that drainage system, and every supplement on this list is a flood risk that most people over 60 don't even know they're creating. If this is the kind of information nobody ever told you before, hit like and subscribe right now, because there's a lot more where that came from. And trust me, what comes next, you need to hear. Let's talk about exactly what those risks are. Meet Robert. He's 71 years old, and his doctor told him to take 125 micrograms of vitamin D3 every day. Robert did exactly what he was told, but 18 months later, he was diagnosed with arterial calcification, a dangerous hardening of the blood vessels. Nobody in his doctor's office connected it to the bottle sitting on his kitchen counter, but the connection was there. Here's what was happening inside Robert's body. Vitamin D acts like a traffic cop standing in the middle of your bloodstream, waving calcium in from the food you eat. More vitamin D means more calcium flooding into your system. That sounds like a good thing, and it can be. But calcium needs directions. It needs to know where to go. That's the job of vitamin K2. Think of K2 as the GPS that tells calcium to head straight to your bones and stay away from your arteries. Without K2, that calcium just parks wherever it wants, and in older adults, it often parks in the walls of blood vessels. This is the problem with taking high-dose vitamin D3 on its own. D3 dramatically increases how much calcium your body absorbs from food. But without the MK7 form of vitamin K2, that calcium has no signal telling it to go to bone. In people over 60, whose arteries are already naturally becoming stiffer with age, that loose calcium deposits right into the vessel walls. Over time, that buildup makes the arteries harder and narrower, raising the risk of heart attack and stroke. The research backs this up. The Rotterdam study, published in 2019, looked at adults over 55, and found that those with higher K2 intake had significantly less arterial calcification and a lower risk of dying from cardiovascular disease. The K2 wasn't just helpful, it was protective in a meaningful, measurable way. So what should you actually do? Firstly, unless a blood test has confirmed you are deficient, keep your D3 dose at 50 micrograms or below. High doses are not automatically better, especially after 60 when your body clears things more slowly. Secondly, always take vitamin D3 alongside 100 to 200 micrograms of vitamin K2 in the MK7 form. Not just any K2, but MK7 specifically because it stays active in your body for the longest. Thirdly, take both supplements with the biggest, fattiest meal of your day. Both D3 and K2 are fat-soluble, which means your body can only absorb them properly when fat is present. Taking vitamin D without K2 is like hiring a delivery driver and giving them no address. The package is going to end up somewhere, just not where you intended. In the case of calcium, the wrong destination can cost you your health. Always pair them. Next case study supplement. Dorothy, a 64-year-old. When she went through menopause, her doctor told her to start taking 1,200 milligrams of calcium carbonate every day to protect her bones. Dorothy followed that advice faithfully for years. She had no reason to question it. Then came the kidney stones, together with flagged coronary calcium score, a test that measures how much calcium has built up inside the arteries around your heart. Dorothy had done everything she was told, and her body was paying the price anyway. This is one of the most widespread supplement mistakes in women over 60, and it hides behind decades of well-meaning advice. Here is the problem. When you eat calcium-rich foods, your body absorbs that calcium slowly and steadily. Your system has time to manage it. But when you swallow a calcium supplement, especially calcium carbonate, which is the most common kind, it dumps a large amount of calcium into your bloodstream all at once. That sharp spike is something your body was not designed to handle well, and after 60 it handles it even less efficiently than before. Here is why. Your parathyroid glands are 4 tiny glands in your neck that control calcium levels in your blood. When you are younger, they respond quickly and precisely to any spike, circling the excess and directing it where it belongs. As you age, that regulation becomes slower and less accurate. So when a calcium supplement floods your system, the excess calcium goes looking for somewhere to land. It finds your kidneys, it finds your artery walls, it finds soft tissue. None of those are places you want calcium building up. Think of it like dumping a truckload of gravel into a river because you want to build a dam. The gravel does not go where you planned. It just sinks and clogs things further downstream. The research on this is serious. A landmark analysis published in the British Medical Journal in 2010 looked at multiple studies on older women and found that those taking calcium supplements without vitamin D had a 27% higher risk of heart attack compared to those who did not supplement. The striking part was that women getting the same amount of calcium from food showed no such increase. The food was safe, the pill was not. So what should you do instead? Start by getting your calcium from food. Sardines, kale, broccoli, and fortified oat milk are all strong sources that your body processes safely. If your doctor has reviewed your levels and you genuinely need to supplement, use calcium citrate rather than carbonate. It absorbs more gently and is less likely to spike your blood levels. Keep the dose at 500 milligrams or below. Always take it with food and separate it from any iron supplements by at least 2 hours, since they block each other's absorption. Pouring a calcium pill into your body after 60 without a dietary strategy is like pouring concrete into a plumbing system. Get it from food first, always. And now the third popular supplement. Gerald, a 72-year-old who had read that fish oil was good for his heart, so he started taking 3 capsules a day, seemed reasonable enough. He was also taking a low-dose aspirin, which his doctor had recommended years ago. Nobody ever sat Gerald down and explained what those 2 things were doing together. He found out the hard way during a routine dental extraction. The bleeding would not stop. It was not a mystery to anyone who understood what was sitting on Gerald's supplement shelf. Fish oil at a sensible dose does something genuinely useful. It makes your blood flow a little more smoothly, reduces inflammation, and takes some of the stiffness out of the whole system. Think of it like WD-40 on a stiff hinge. A small amount loosens things up nicely, but pour too much solvent on that same hinge, and suddenly nothing holds together the way it should. That is what happens when fish oil climbs too high, especially when something else is already thinning the blood. The mechanism is straightforward. The omega-3 fatty acids in fish oil, specifically EPA and DHA, slow down platelet aggregation. Platelets are the tiny cells that clump together to form a clot when you bleed. Omega-3s tell them to be less aggressive about clumping. At moderate doses, that is mostly harmless and can even be helpful. But once you cross above 2 grams of combined EPA and DHA per day, that effect becomes strong enough to cause real problems. Add aspirin, warfarin, or anti-inflammatory drugs like ibuprofen into the mix, and you have stacked multiple blood-thinning forces on top of each other. Here is where many people get tripped up. The front of a fish oil bottle might say 1,000 milligram fish oil in large print, but flip it over and read the back. The actual omega-3 content, the EPA and DHA combined, might only be 300 to 500 milligrams per capsule. 3 capsules a day puts many people between 900 and 1,500 milligrams of active omega-3, which crosses the threshold faster than most people realize. The research adds another layer of concern. A review published in JAMA Cardiology in 2020 found that high-dose omega-3 supplementation raised the risk of atrial fibrillation, an irregular heart rhythm, in older adults, particularly those over 65 who were already taking anticoagulant medications. More fish oil was not better. It was riskier. The fix is simple once you know it. Keep your daily intake at or below 1 gram of combined EPA and DHA unless a cardiologist has specifically told you otherwise. Always read the nutrition label on the back of the bottle, not just the front. And if you have any surgery or dental procedure coming up, stop taking fish oil at least 5 days beforehand. Running high-dose fish oil alongside a blood thinner is like pointing 2 powerful fans in the same direction inside a closed room. Eventually, you lose control of what is moving. So stay under 1 gram, and always tell your doctor what you are taking. Next case supplement to look into. Helen is 68 years old and has been exhausted for 2 years. Not just tired, foggy, slow, struggling to find words mid-sentence. She mentioned it to her doctor, who ran a blood test and told her her B12 levels looked perfectly fine. Helen had been taking a B12 supplement every day. The bottle said it was working. Her body was telling a different story. What her doctor never checked was whether Helen's body could actually use the form of B12 she was taking. The supplement on Helen's shelf contained cyanocobalamin. It is the most common form of B12 on the market because it is the cheapest to produce. The problem is that cyanocobalamin is not a form your body can use directly. It has to be converted first, transformed into something called methylcobalamin before your nervous system can do anything with it. For many people, that conversion happens without much trouble. But a very common genetic variation called MTHFR, which a significant portion of the population carries, makes that conversion slow or nearly impossible. Think of it like sending an important letter written in a language the person cannot read. The envelope arrives at the right address. The post office marks it as delivered, but the message inside never gets through. This problem is made worse by age. After 60, your stomach produces less acid than it used to. That matters because stomach acid is what unlocks B12 from food and supplements so your gut can absorb it. Less acid means less absorption, so Helen was already starting behind. And then her body also struggled to convert what little it did absorb into a usable form. Her blood test showed B12 present in her system, but her brain and nerves were running on empty. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition in 2016 compared the two forms directly in adults over 60. Methylcobalamin significantly outperformed cyanocobalamin when it came to neurological improvements, specifically memory function and nerve conduction. The cheaper form was not just less effective. For people with conversion difficulties, it was essentially doing nothing where it mattered most. The correction is straightforward. Switch from cyanocobalamin to methylcobalamin or hydroxycobalamin. Both are forms your body can use without needing to run them through a conversion process first. Take 1,000 micrograms sublingually, meaning you place it under your tongue and let it dissolve there. This bypasses the gut entirely, which sidesteps the low stomach acid problem completely and gets B12 directly into your bloodstream. Take it in the morning rather than at night, because B12 has been known to interfere with sleep in some people over 60. Taking cyanocobalamin and expecting your brain and nerves to benefit after 60 is like filling a diesel engine with regular gasoline. It is the wrong form, and the outcome will reflect that. Always go methyl. Now we'll be talking about the last supplement on our list. Frank, a 70-year-old, read that magnesium supports better sleep, steadier heart rhythm, and lowers blood pressure. Those were exactly the three things he was struggling with. So he headed to a supermarket, found the biggest bottle of magnesium on the shelf, and started taking it every day. 3 weeks later, he was making constant trips to the bathroom and his blood pressure had not moved a single point. Frank had not bought a mineral supplement. He had bought a laxative in disguise. The form of magnesium in that bottle was almost certainly magnesium oxide. It is by far the most common form sold in big box stores because it is cheap to manufacture and easy to pack into a large tablet. The label says magnesium, the price is right, and the bottle is satisfyingly large. But here is the truth about magnesium oxide that the label will never tell you. It has a bioavailability of roughly 4%. That means for every 500 milligram tablet Frank swallowed, only about 20 milligrams actually made it into his bloodstream. The other 480 milligrams sat in his gut, drew water into his intestines, and sent him rushing to the bathroom. His muscles, his heart, and his brain, all of which genuinely needed magnesium, received almost nothing. Magnesium oxide is essentially a decoy supplement. It looks exactly like the real thing on the outside. It carries the right name, but it behaves more like a digestive flush than a mineral your cells can actually use. This matters more after 60 than at any earlier point in life. Magnesium absorption naturally declines with age, your kidneys excrete more of it, and many common medications, including proton pump inhibitors and diuretics which drain magnesium levels further. Older adults are already running low. Taking a form with 4% absorption does not begin to close that gap. The research is clear on this. A comparative study published in Magnesium Research found that magnesium glycinate and magnesium malate were absorbed at 3 to 4 times the rate of magnesium oxide in older adults with age-related absorption decline. That is not a small difference. That is the difference between actually correcting a deficiency and simply irritating your digestive system for weeks. The fix is to put the oxide down and pick up the right form for what you need. If your main concern is sleep quality or anxiety, magnesium glycinate is your best option. It is gentle on the gut, absorbs well, and has a calming effect on the nervous system. Take 200 to 400 milligrams about 1 hour before bed. If energy and muscle function are the bigger concern, magnesium malate is the stronger choice for those goals. Taking magnesium oxide and expecting your cells to benefit is like ordering a meal at a restaurant and receiving an empty plate with a picture of food on it. It looks right, it does nothing. Switch to glycinate and actually feed your cells. Now let's talk about what you are actually going to do today. Right now, before you do anything else, pause and go to your supplement shelf, pull out every bottle, and look at the labels. You are checking for 5 specific things, and this will take less than 5 minutes. First, if you have vitamin D without K2, that needs to change today. Add MK7 in the 100 to 200 microgram range and take them together with your biggest meal. Second, if you have calcium carbonate at doses over 500 milligrams, stop taking it. Put it in the trash and start taking sardines, kale, and fortified oat milk into your meals instead. Third, check your fish oil. If your combined EPA and DHA adds up to more than 2 grams daily, cut back to 1 capsule and cross-check your medication list for aspirin, warfarin, or any anti-inflammatory. Fourth, look at your B12. If the label says Cyanocobalamin, replace it with methylcobalamin in sublingual form. Fifth, check your magnesium. If it says oxide, set it aside tonight and order glycinate before you go to bed. 5 labels, 5 checks, that is all it takes to start. These 5 mistakes are the reason so many people over 60 do everything right. They supplement every single day. They spend hundreds of dollars a year. They are consistent and careful, and still wake up exhausted, still feel foggy by mid-morning, still feel more fragile than they think they should. It is not a lack of effort. It is not bad luck. It is that the wrong form of the right nutrient is simply an expensive way to feel exactly the same. Your effort deserves better than that. Your money deserves better than that. And honestly, your body has been patient long enough. If you are going to make at least one of these swaps this week, even just one, type the word switching in the comments below. I read every single comment personally. It also helps me understand which of these mistakes is showing up most in people's lives, so I can keep making videos that actually speak to what you are dealing with. And if someone you love is over 60 and you spotted their supplements on this list today, please share this video with them before their next pharmacy run. Send it to them right now while it is on your mind. It costs you nothing and it could genuinely change something important for them. That might be the most useful thing you forward to someone all year. If you want more of this, real Pharmacist clinical-backed information, hit the like and subscribe buttons. Every week I go deep on one topic that matters for your health after 60, and I bring the same straight, science-backed approach every time.